Okay, how do I get out?
What?
Okay, there.
Jeez, do you know how to use these much?
No, I don't
I
actually.
guess not. Great.
I never go on YouTube.
Well, you should.
Should. Should. Should.
Okay. We're in. Nobody's here
We
yet.
got a little.
What?
Is your camera dirty or something, or oh, you got a fingerprint? Still there. There's a fingerprint or something on there. Your camera must be dirty on the front.
Well, where's the camera on the front?
It's that on the. It's where the notch is. See where the notch is?
Here?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, we got somebody? All right, let's just see if we can clean this up. Now we're crooked. Do I still have it?
Yeah.
Well, it's going to have to stay. No, it's not too bad. It's going to have to stay because I can't
Yeah.
right now. So anyways, jeez.
If you didn't put fingers all over it.
If you aren't so bloody critical. Anyways, who's here? Lots of people are here. Okay. Precy's here. Hi, Precy and Carol. Hi, Carol. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Julie. Hi, Virginia. So we're just having a little technical problem. Actually, now I've got the phone is too high. Let's just adjust us. Go down a little bit. Okay. That should be good. Okay. So, we're having high tea. I made scones. Actually, they were from a mix. We visited some friends on the weekend and they gave us a box of this scones mix, however you want to say them. What, you rotting?
No, I have a bruise.
Oh.
I don't know where I got that. Oh, I know where I got that.
Oh, well, I didn't hit you.
No, I walked into the dresser the other day and it hurt like hell.
Old Ben shouldn't walk into dressers. See, where did I hear that one before? Phyllis is here. Hi, Phyllis. Tracy says, oh my God, I'd love one. I made baba ganoush. Oh, good for you. I don't think I would take the time because you have to roast eggplant, don't you, for that and do everything. I just buy in a container. Okay, so anyways, what's up? Before we get to the main discussion point today, update on my mother. She's driving me mental. Every time I phoned her this week, the phone rings 15 bloody times. I mean, give her lots of time to get to the phone. She doesn't pick up. Finally, when I did get through to her, she picked up the phone and then promptly hung it up. So today I phoned her. And same thing happened. She picked up the phone, hung it up. Phoned her back. She picks up the phone, finally goes through this time. And I said to her, and this is the part that's annoying. I said, are you having trouble with your phone? No, I don't think so. And I said, well, here's the situation, Mother. And I told her what I just told you. And she goes, oh, well, I didn't do anything.
I think when she picks it up, she must hold down the.
Oh, she probably does. I have no idea. It's just driving me mental. But anyways, we're now playing Bragate. Because I think I mentioned last week that my mother's bras are not coming back from the laundry and she's down to 3. And my sister just bought her a couple of new ones. So Tuesday I was over there. I counted her bras. Yep, she's only got 2 bras plus one she was wearing. So I sent a note off to the administrator and said, okay, here's the situation. My mother came into the place with like about 9 bras. She's down to 3. My sister has bought her 4 new bras in the last 2.5, 3 months, and we're still down to 3. So is there anything you can do about this or check it out? And they are good there, as I've told you before. She wrote right back, she says, we have a complete inventory of her clothing because when you take the clothing in, anything, they label it. And I guess they make a record of it. And she says, yep, She should have that many bras. She says, but bras are like socks around here. Well, that doesn't make me feel any better. I mean, yeah, we all know about the mismatched sock. You know, you put in a bunch of socks, they're all matched up in your wash. You never come out with a complete set for some reason. Well, yeah, but socks are cheap. Well, at least the ones.
And not only that, socks come in pairs, whereas bras really don't come
No,
in pairs.
but bras don't come in pairs. Yeah, well, I don't know, pair of cups. I don't know, whatever. But at $42 a pop for these ones, this is getting a little expensive to be losing bras. So she said she would check into it and get back to me. Well, 10 minutes later, I got an email back from her saying that they found a bra, found one bra. So that gives my mother 4 bras. And she said she had the PSWs going around and checking because what probably has happened is my mother's bras got put in the wrong room. Well, yeah, more than likely. I mean, I don't really expect anybody's running around the halls wearing it on their head and playing, for World War I air pilot with it or something like that.
Actually, probably on the ones that she's got, I'd check the condition of the labels that are on there.
Yeah, I know. Anyways, well, they put the labels on. We don't. So
Yeah, I know, but when my mom was in nursing home a few times on certain type of clothing items, the labels would start to come off.
okay, but they're not amateurs to this.
Yeah, but
How
they
many
don't-
bras have they labeled? I'm sure hundreds.
Yeah, well,
So I don't know. Well, right now, though, I mean, I've given them always the benefit of the doubt for everything. I don't like to push issues. I know they do the best job they can, but we can't afford to keep my mother in bras like this. So I'm going to pursue it further. When I talked to my mother today, I said, so Mom, they found one of your bras, so you should have 4 bras now. How many do you have? I only have 3. And I said, well, what? 3 in your drawer and you're wearing one. That makes 4. No, there's 2 in my drawer, I'm wearing one. So you have 3, same as we were on Tuesday. So I don't know.
unless one's back in the wash.
Well, that's a possibility too. So, but the whole point is, it's not a question of whether she has 3 or 4 bras. She should have a minimum of about 9 bras around there, if not more. Actually, I think she went into the nursing home with 5 bras. And my sister's bought her 4 new ones. That's 9 total. So, minimum number, she should have 9 bras. I mean, yeah, I guess bras wear out occasionally, but none of my mother's bras have worn out, as far as I know. So, anyways, it just is kind of ludicrous, isn't it? I'm going around looking for bras.
Gracie said she doesn't need a bra.
Yeah.
Well, actually, his mother probably doesn't need a bra either.
No, in fact, when she said to me that there's a couple of the staff there when they help her dress and that have suggested to her that she doesn't really need a bra, but my mother says, well, she went one day without a bra and she just didn't feel comfortable. Well, okay, I get it. I mean, I have a feeling they might have been suggesting that because they have to dress everybody. And I'm sure in the morning, getting them all up, getting them all dressed, getting them down for brekkie and the whole bit, that takes up a good part of the morning and is probably, a hard job. I wouldn't want to do it. So, if they find a shortcut, like, no, let's go braless, ladies, today, whatever. But my mother said she's not comfortable with that. She wants to wear her bra. And I think that's my mother's prerogative, is it not? She may be in a nursing home. It doesn't mean she should be. Their whole idea in the nursing home is to make them as comfortable as they can, and it is their home. So if she wants to wear a bra, she's entitled to wear a bra, as long as she's got bras to wear. And at this rate, she may not. Buy her a sports bra, Phyllis says. Well, yeah, but Phyllis, the issue isn't support, okay? And it's not like my mother's going jogging or playing tennis. It's a whole question of the fact that bras, new bras, are just, as soon as they get down into the wash, they're gone. There must be a hidden room that's full of bras that they don't know where they go. I don't know. But I am going to pursue it further because it's a little bit ridiculous. So, I'm taking it step by step. Mm-hmm. But really, I didn't think when I retired my life would be reduced to having to search for my mother's bras. Oh well. But besides that, she's fine. It's just me that's being driven crazy. So we went off and saw some childhood friends of mine in Kingston. And if you saw the little teaser for today's episode of Live, I did it from our hotel room because we stayed overnight. Kingston's about 2 hours, a little over 2 hours away to the east from us. And these are people that I sort of grew up with. I spent, several weeks in the summers with them when I was a kid, when I went to visit my grandparents and stay with them because they lived right next door. And so I've known them for my whole life, pretty much. And we went over to visit them, and it was a nice visit and got caught up on things. And the reason we're having scones is because one of the girls, they're ladies, they're as old as me, and older actually, a couple of them, gave us a little basket with, she said it was a hostess gift because technically it was our turn to host them, but Pam, who's the one daughter's house that we were at, she's looking after her parents. Her parents are up in their late 80s, and they live with her. And she's got sort of a raised bungalow, and the basement, I think, is like an apartment, and that's where they live and whatnot. But her dad right now is not doing very well. He's got the early stages of dementia, plus he's got a whole host of very serious health issues. Although, I have to say, for a man at 88 years old, he was walking with a cane and getting up and down stairs. There was a problem with his short-term memory, but his long-term memory seemed to be very, very good. But he just has a whole host of other problems. And essentially what she told me was, it's a matter of time. What was that?
Ice cube.
Oh. It was just a matter of time, before the inevitable happens, which is kind of sad, but that's life, right? So anyways, that's why they couldn't come up to our place this time, but she had put this basket of goodies together for us, a couple of bottles of wine and a package of these scone mix. So I decided I would make them. Oh, one's gone already.
Yeah, I ate it.
How was it?
It was okay.
Oh, good. High praise. Okay. I got to try one. So anyways, it was nice to see them. And then we just went back to our hotel room and flaked out, drank wine, watched TV, and then came home. So that was the weekend.
Phyllis says, no support on sports bra. They aren't expensive and are comfortable. I wonder why you wouldn't have any support with them.
I don't know.
I think that she means that they're not rigid.
Oh, okay.
I think they're more... Anyway, so
I don't know.
That would work okay. Actually, he has already asked his sister if she can get her cheaper ones.
Yeah, because I don't think I'm going to solve this problem. I do hope we can find a few more of her bras, but in the meantime, when she needs more bras, I said to my sister, can you get her ones that are a little cheaper? And she says the only reason she gets my mother the ones that she does, because those are the ones she's used to and she likes, because that's the type she has worn, I guess, for years. My mother never had cheap taste in anything. So, I'm sure she could have spent a lot more money on bras.
She probably could get the same ones at Walmart for $10 less. But...
Yeah, well, my sister and Walmart, they don't go together. Because my sister will not shop at Walmart for many reasons. So anyways, yeah, my sister said, she says, Mom probably won't even know the difference. But I did already suggest to my mother that we might be purchasing cheaper bras in the future. And my mother didn't seem to have a problem with that. So, I'm not going to do anything behind her back. It's her life. But you have to have a reality check every now and then. Okay, so that was the visit. We had sewing classes. Walter's got 2 each week.
I still have to do my homework.
Oh, you haven't finished your homework yet?
No.
Oh, bad boy. I'm learning how to sew curves, and actually, at first it was a little tricky, but I think I've got it down now, and it's fairly easy to do. So I'm happy about that. What else? Oh, okay. I don't know how many people are familiar with the television show The Handmaid's Tale. It's had 3 seasons. It's based on the book that Margaret Atwood, our foremost Canadian author in Canada, wrote back in the 80s. I think it came out in 87. And the first season was based on the book. Then it went beyond in season 2 and season 3. And it's a really good series if you've never seen it. But I had read the book many, many years ago when it first came out, and I taught the book for many years to my grade 12s, to my seniors that are university bound. And it's a very appropriate book to what's going on in the States right now, the Ford administration, the severe conservatism of the right, and all that kind of stuff. And actually, when it came out in 87, it was very much appropriate for that time period too. And that it's funny how writers tend to be very prophetic in what they write. But on Tuesday night, they had a special satellite. It couldn't have been live, but it was to launch the book. The book came out on September the 10th. I've already got it, but I haven't started reading it yet. Her next book, which is the sequel to the first one, it's called The Testaments, and it takes place about 30 years into the future from where the first book ended. And so they were interviewing Margaret Atwood, and they had some prominent British actors reading some excerpts from the new book. And they did this at the National Arts Centre or something like that in London. And I went to, they broadcasted at our local movie theater. And I actually paid about $20, almost $20, to listen to this. But it was very good. It was very interesting. And Margaret Atwood definitely likes to bash men. She always has. I guess she always will. And actually, just a sneak peek at something I'm going to be talking about that's going to be kind of controversial amongst the ladies tomorrow on my vlog. I'm going to talk about why I'm pissed off with the way women treat men. We will not discuss that right now. I know there'll be people with opinions about that. But anyways, I went to it. It was very good. The reason I say I don't think it was live is because it started at 7 o'clock our time. London is 5 hours ahead of us. So I don't think they did it at midnight because they had a live audience when they did it at this National Arts Center or whatever, because they showed it. So I think it was actually pre-recorded, probably only a 24-hour thing. But anyways, it was really good. So I highly recommend, if you've never read the book, Handmaid's Tale, or if you've never seen the series, do one or the other, or both, because it is very, very good. Okay, so that was what I did last week. Did you do anything exciting? You had lunch with somebody, didn't you?
I had lunch with
Somebody used to work
an ex-colleague, or like she's still there.
But you're not.
No, I'm not.
So she's ex-colleague.
Yeah, so that was kind of interesting.
Why?
Well, I don't know. She's a woman I used to work with pretty close for a number of years, and she's actually an immigrant to Canada from Russia. So her English is still a little broken. But we always got along well, and I like to catch up with her traveling. She travels a lot, and we travel a fair bit, and it's kind of nice to talk to her about her experiences in traveling.
And what did you have for lunch?
Actually, I had half a roast beef dip sandwich with what's supposed to be chicken gumbo soup, but it turned out to be a Thai chicken soup.
Oh.
And I was a little bit worried about it because it was a little bit spicy. But
Oh, yeah,
anyway, so then actually the waitress apologized when she brought it to the table. She says, if you don't like it, I can get you something else. So, but it was okay. And then what else? Luba was saying to me about she's been trying to rent a VRBO in Florida.
Oh yeah, this is interesting. Yeah.
She had a couple of years in a row. I guess she's gone to Florida, somewhere on the Tampa side. I'm not exactly sure where. And she's rented a condo through VRBO or whatever, right? And she's had success with it, and she really liked it. They liked the place and everything else. Well, they tried renting it again this year, and they did rent it. And then 2 months after they had it reserved or whatever, or rented or whatever, they got a message from the owner back and said, sorry, he's decided to up the price on it. right? So in other words, you got to cancel your reservation and redo it again. And the price he had it at was about double what they originally were prepared to pay for it. And she wasn't prepared to pay that much. So she canceled that one and tried again with a different condo that's in the same location. And 2 weeks later, she got a similar message that this person decided that they weren't going to rent it out for that price anymore, and they were going to wanted it for a cheaper rate. So she's done this 4 times now, and all 4 times within about 2 weeks, the original owner cancels or reneges on the original booking. So she's getting really disheartened about trying to do this sort of thing.
Well, that would wreak havoc on your plans with your flights and everything like that. You know, if they cancel out on you just when you're about to get onto the plane, you get there, you don't have a place to stay in the whole bit. That's not right. They need some sort of regulation on these
So right
things.
now she says she's got a flight booked, but she doesn't have any place to stay.
That's not good. Well, hopefully she'll find someplace. So, what are we watching? Oh, no, first of all, newsworthy. Okay, you know that here in Canada, we have entered officially now into the election season for the federal leaders, for our federal government, Prime Minister, and the party that's going to rule. And so they're out in full force, and they had the first debate, leaders' debate, and our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, did not show up for that debate. And
Well, they knew ahead of time.
yeah, they knew he wasn't going to show up. But of course, I thought that's a bad move because the leader of the Conservative Party, who's an idiot, would start to focus all on that. Like, okay, the Prime Minister can't even come here. He must have something to hide, blah, 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 blah. The whole debate amongst the 3 leaders that were there, the Conservative Party, the NDP, which is the New Democratic Party that we've had, that usually the Conservatives and the New Democrats and Trudeau is Liberal. Those are our 3 main parties, but they also had a 4th party there, which is the Green Party, which is basically a party that has a lot of pie in the sky ideas about saving the environment and that all this money they're going to sink into it, and they never ever mention where that money's going to come from or how they're going to get it, but they're all about that. But they have no chance of getting in power no matter what they do or say. But anyways, they were there for the debate as well. Well, they were all idiots in the debate. But the one who's the biggest threat to Trudeau getting back in again, Scheer is his name, Andrew Scheer. He's the head of the Conservative Party, the leader of the Conservative Party. He's just a moron. And he talks about putting money back into the pockets of the lower classes and things like this. The Conservative Party have never been for the underdogs. They have always been for big business. Totally.
And rich people.
Yeah, and rich people. And as I've said before, the Conservatives are the equivalent to the Republicans of the United States. So it was interesting. But I think I see what Trudeau's strategy is. He said that he was going to be in at least 2 debates that were federally sanctioned. There is a committee at the federal government level that sets up leaders' debates during election time. They're the official. This one that he didn't go to was actually set up by a magazine. And of course, the guy who was moderating it sucked. He let all the candidates talk over top of each other. They weren't paying any attention to him. They went totally off topic with the questions that he asked, and he never brought them back onto topic. I don't know. I don't blame Trudeau for not putting himself in that situation. But now I think the strategy is this was the first televised debate of the election season. He's now heard what they've all got to say. When he gets into a debate with them at one of the sanctioned debates, he's already going to have prepared his answers to what they're focusing on and his criticisms of them. So maybe it wasn't such a stupid strategy like I thought at first. Actually,
Not only that, I think
it's
when
clever.
people go to vote, they're probably not going to remember how many debates they've actually been in.
No. I mean, in this country, we vote for the party. We don't vote for the person. But if the person is an idiot, like Andrew Scheer, you can't really separate him from his party. Because if you put in his party in power, he becomes prime minister. So there's the difference in our politics to say the American system. So we'll see what we see, but hopefully the Liberals will get in again. And because if we end up with the Conservatives, it's just going to be like Ontario's already conservative, where we live, with little mini Trump there, Doug Ford,
And he's done he ran on the platform that is going to get put money back in the pockets of the little people. But what he's doing is he's cutting all kinds of services that we'll have to pay extra for.
And this isn't anything new. The Conservatives, no matter if they're at the provincial level or at the federal level, do this every time they get into power. They cut services on this idea that they're saving money, and they always have to pay down the deficit because the party that was in before them rang it up too high. Well, yeah, they all do that. But a deficit for most governments, I think, at least our government, is a way of life. I'm not saying it's a good way of life, but it is the way of life.
And even when they say they're paying down the deficit, they're not actually paying down.
No, they're not. The interest rates are extremely high on this and that. They could pay down the deficit easily. 1, we send no money outside of the country. 2, we cut the military. That kind of thing. And 3, we cut their pensions way back because they get huge pensions. So as long as they stay for 2 terms in the government as a MP, they get a humongous pension. And so that's what they do. It's a job for them just in order to line their coffers. Because people that are in politics, for the most part, most of them already have a good source of income coming in. That's why they can run in politics, because the average person can't afford to. So, simple as that, but that's the news. And so we're going to hope for the best that when we have Election Day on October the 21st, that people put in the Liberals and screw the Conservative Party. We hope. Okay, so what are we watching? Well, when I say we, I mean me. There's a show, it's Russian actually, but everything is dubbed, and it's called The Other.
On Netflix.
On Netflix, yeah. And it's actually, I'm starting to get right into it. The first couple of episodes, I didn't know if I was going to like it or not, but it's basically about people having androids that work for them, and they look like human beings in the whole bit, but they're it's that whole AI thing. It's kind of like how Alexa takes over, except at least Alexa can't walk.
We've got her turned off right now. So.
Oh yeah, Alexa's. Sorry if I just turned on everybody else's Alexas. We've had a lot of problems with her. She is just a.
She keeps turning
bitch.
on the stereo when we're not home.
Yeah, we weren't home over this weekend, and she decided to play with the stereo. Yeah, and they don't talk to each other very nicely either, as we have found out. So all these smart devices, I don't know how smart they are. And at the movies, haven't seen one, but I'm going to. I don't know if any of you are Downton Abbey fans of this television series that was out a few years ago. Ended a few, but I was. And they made a movie. And I saw the trailer, the extended trailer for it. And yeah, it's a must-see. He never watched Downton Abbey, so. But I loved the series. Tracy says, my new car has a camera and microphone. So, Tracy, you could do your own live YouTube things. Call it Tracy from a Car. That seems to be very popular.
Well, my car has a camera, but it won't broadcast. It does just checks the traffic on the right hand side.
Well, I think she's actually talking about a camera and a microphone, so
Okay.
maybe could broadcast from it.
I don't know.
It's kind of cool. I don't know. My car doesn't have any of these new fancy things because my car is a 2008. Just before everything got smart-ish. Oh, and Tracy says it's got voice control. That'd be nice. Okay, what else? Oh, yes. When we were up at my friend's place on the weekend visiting them, the one that was hosting us, she's an author as well. She's a retired librarian. And she wrote her first book about a year ago or so, or got out a year ago, and it was in electronic format. I downloaded, I read it. It's a humorous book. It's very Canadian, since she is, and her family come from the East Coast, and so that's where it is set, and it's quite funny. I forget what it's called. Shambles, something.
Shambles of something county or something.
Yeah, and I don't have it handy. It's downstairs. But anyways, yeah, something Shambles of, or in something Shambles County.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's an enjoyable read. But she's got her second book she's working on, so she gave me a draft copy of it. It's not finished yet to read over. So I'm looking forward to reading that. And it's not really a sequel, as she says. It's a totally different idea. And I'm sure it will be in the vein that she likes. She loves to write in sarcasm, and satire. So I'm sure it'll be quite like that as well. Okay. So that brings us to today's topic, which was suggested, and I forget who suggested it last week, but somebody did, and it was, are we alone in the universe? And actually, I got thinking about this topic, and there is a really serious side to this whole discussion. First of all, do I believe there are aliens? Yes, I do. I do believe there are other life forms in the universe. What do you think?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, I don't see how you could not believe that there are, that we're the only creatures out here. When I was in university, I took an astronomy course. And the professor of astronomy was talking about the size of our universe as we know it. And we can only figure out the actual size of our universe using mathematical equations. Because basically the universe is immense. Even if it does have an ending or not, who knows. But he said, if you took that in consideration and you did some kind of mathematical probability thing, the number of planets that could the number of stars, suns basically, in the universe that have planets orbiting them that could sustain life exactly as we know it, like us. There were thousands upon tens of thousands. And that was just life forms like us. That wasn't to count other types of life form that we have no idea about. So basically his point was, how could we not believe in aliens? Well, then somebody said, but if there are alien life out there, why is it, for the most part, they've never contacted us, as far as we know? And he said, he showed us where we were located in the universe. And of course, our planet is in our solar system, which is located in the Milky Way galaxy. And there are hundreds of galaxies that make up the universe, and they're massive. But our galaxy is located on the fringes of the known universe. In fact, in other words, we live out in the boonies. So basically, any life forms that are more intelligent, and there's probably a lot, than we are, why would they bother? Why are they going to go out, like, let's slum it tonight, this weekend, dear, and fly out to the boonies and see what the humans are doing, kind of a thing. So when you think about that, it does make you think we're not really that significant in the universe, probably. Let's see. Carol says, I agree with you. Prey says, I'm not going to get too far, but I believe at least some of us came from Venus when Venus went through global warming. Well, see, there's the other thing. We now know, because of exploration of our solar system, that there was a possibility that the planets, the inner planets, at one time may have had life. Like Venus is one of them because of, I think Venus actually might have had traces of actual water. But of course, as millions of years went by, the sun changed a little bit. Venus's orbit may have changed a little bit, whatever, and just maybe eventually wiped out that civilization, or they migrated. They were advanced enough to migrate to, say, Earth, or to one of the other planets, or whatever. But we're talking not 100 years, not 1,000 years, not even 1,000,000 years. We're talking billions of years. Probably such a big number we can't even fathom it.
Or somehow they not specifically Venus, maybe some other planet that was advanced enough to come out this way to find a habitable planet.
Well, there's also the theory, it's kind of lumped in with the crazy theories, conspiracy theories, and that we are already have aliens on this planet. There's groups. They're called the Greys, the Reptilians, and supposedly they are in control of us. And they're in control of the governments. And they start to talk about things like the Illuminati and all of that kind of stuff, and about, the earth is hollow, they all live down there, or whatever, and that they're in control. And that all the leaders of the world all know about this, or are this, because they're shapeshifters. They can look like human beings, but they're not human beings.
Sort of like a Men in Black scenario.
Yeah, kind of a thing.
But
And I don't know, that almost sounds a little far-fetched. But given the science and the math, just to think, I think it's just arrogant of us as human beings, as a species, to actually think that we're the most important things in the universe and the only ones in the universe. And of course, you know what that brings up, and this is where you get the religious rights and a whole bit, and the conservatives. It puts into question God. And some people say, if we ever have first contact where, we know, okay, they come down, there's an alien, yay, take me to your leader. Oh God, don't land in the United States or Britain right now, or in Ontario, because who wants to meet those leaders? That would say there's no God. I don't think that's true. In my way, something created the universe. And if that something in your philosophy is God, and God is omnipotent, then all this does is reinforce the fact there is a God in the way I look at it. But who's to say? I mean, they talk about the universe being created by the Big Bang Theory. Well, that's a cop-out, the Big Bang Theory. Oh yeah, there were molecules or something got together, bang, whoops, planets. Yeah, I think that's more far-fetched to believe than in the creationist theory, to a certain extent. So I don't know. Tracy says, Buzz Aldrin says he's seen UFOs in space. Actually, there's been several of the, back when they were first doing the Apollo missions and the Gemini mission. What's my word? My words. I'm not having my words.
Space mission.
Yeah, space station. That when they were going up and trying out the supersonic checks and things like that. There was many times that they said they cited UFOs, and the government hushed them up and said, no, you're not going to talk about that. And then you got the whole Roswell thing, right? Like, did aliens land, alien autopsy? And that whole bit, is Roswell a place where they've hidden the technology that's come from another place, another world, or something like that? And the government's not going to tell us about it? And why wouldn't the government? And why would the government tell us about it? Well, if we found out that there was alien life and that it's been here for quite a while and the government's been covering it up, I guess their theory is
they lose control.
They would lose control, because we would no longer, like as if we have, faith in our governing bodies. I don't think I need to worry about that. I think we've already have lost faith in all of that kind of stuff. Tracy says Elon Musk is one. And she says they are trying to, the Venusians are in control. They're trying to rebuild their technology so they can go on to Mars. Well, who knows, right? I would never poo-pah any of that kind of thing. It just depends who you're talking to about it, because there's a lot of people think you're crazy if you believe in this stuff. I'm not saying I believe in it. I'm just saying I'm leaving my mind open to possibilities. There's an awful lot of things we don't understand in the world. We think we're so damn smart, but we're not. We're not even close. I mean, we're not long out of the trees, people. Really, when you think about it. Do you need examples? Well, I'll give you examples. Trump, Andrew Scheer, Doug Ford, just three that are still hanging by their knuckles from branches. So, but what else? Okay, so I want to ask a question for those of you that are in here with us today. How many of you believe that there is a possibility that there's alien life? Just interested to know. I know Tracy believes there is. So, Carol, Phyllis, what do you guys think? Is there the potential for alien life? And if there is, what would first contact look like? Would they come down and go take us to your leader? Oh God, heaven help them on that one. Carol says, I believe there is. It may not be carbon based. Yes, exactly. It may not be like us at all. Look at how many species there are in our world that we're still discovering that are weird, and they go beyond what we already know about how life works. So, possibility. But I'm just trying to think what would happen to us if aliens came down. First of all, would we recognize them? Will we know there were aliens here? And this goes back to the reptilians and the greys and whatever they want to call them and all the conspiracy type stuff. Tracy says, what if they are plasma or teeny tiny?
Or really big.
Or they could be really big and stomp on us. If you've ever seen the movies Men in Black, I think it was the end of the first one. There's a bug in here. It's an alien bug. There it is. It's an alien. They're listening to us. Mm-hmm. Maybe Alexa's an alien.
Maybe.
That might explain a few things. But in Men in Black, they showed at the end of it, they had this tiny little universe that was on the head of a pin kind of thing. And if you never saw Men in Black, everybody's heard Dr. Seuss's book, Horton Hears a Who. Well, Horton hears a who because he's got a little dandelion in his hand or in his trunk, and on the dandelion is a whole civilization that he's trying to protect. So what if we were like that? We think...
What if we're living on the head of
maybe we're living on the head of a pin. Okay.
I think there was a Aliens. Twilight Zone that was sort of done like that too. That people were living around and hearing these odd noises and stuff like that, and turned out they were living in a dollhouse and
I remember that one.
Yeah, and basically Alien or whatever it was, were alien large children were playing with.
Yeah. So who's to say? We don't really know for sure. But I'm thinking, okay, let's say aliens came here, and they revealed themselves, and they're, for the most part, they are in a form that we would somewhat recognize as life. They may not be exactly like us, but they always paint those pictures where they show them really skinny with big heads and eyes, kind of a thing. And let's say we could communicate with them. What do we do then? I think there could be either really positive, let's say they're friendly, okay? They're not coming here to conquer us or something like that, or wipe us all out and do terraforming like all the science fiction shows often show you. So they just radically rechange the earth. Wait, maybe they're already here, and that's why we have global warming. They're slowly reforming the earth so they can come and live here. Interesting. I think it could be a good thing, because I think what would happen is we would all then see, and maybe this is why the governments don't want us to know anything about UFOs and that, or not know as much as they do, because why would we need governments anymore? Like, why would we need countries? Suddenly, if there's another civilization, in my theory, that's out there, we are now a civilization altogether. We're all, like in the science fiction things, they call us Terrans, right? That could bring the whole world together. Or it could destroy us. One or the other. What you think? Phyllis says, I beg them to take Trump and family. Yeah. Well, yeah, we could see that. But what if Trump and his family are the aliens? And what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I pretty much covering what I would think. I always kind of wondered, like, you had the von Daniken theory or whatever about the pyramids being built from a civilization in the past type of thing. I don't know if I really believe all that, but it does give you the idea that there is a possibility that we may have actually come from space travelers in the past rather than just an evolutionary thing.
Well, there's also the theory that we were seeded here,
Yeah.
that aliens came millions of years ago and were actually responsible for starting the life here on Earth. Could have been a big experiment.
Yeah, or the basics of what do you call it, life were dropped onto this planet and formed. I don't know.
Well, I read that book. It's Chariots of the Gods. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, Chariots of God. I think someone's playing The Sims with us.
Well, the other theories there are is that we're all nothing more than computer simulations, like the Matrix, and we don't know. And so think about this. Okay, this is kind of going off topic a little bit, but there's all these conspiracy theories out there, and I watch them sometimes on. There's documentaries about these things on Netflix,
like Flat Earth.
Like Flat Earth, and that we all live under a dome, and all this kind of stuff. But there's one theory that says, what was I going to talk about? Oh God, I'm having a senior's moment.
You're saying about conspiracy theories?
Yeah, the conspiracy theories. Oh shoot, now I forgot. Okay, God's chariots. Whoa. Right out the door.
Alzheimer's.
Yeah, I guess. Who are you? Shoot. Okay, it'll come back to me eventually.
Carol says, as a people, we tend to fear
that which we don't understand. If they made it here, they would be more advanced. Not sure we are smart enough to keep it peaceful. Yeah, that's the thing. I think we would resort to our more primitive selves and try to blast them.
Well, mind you, it also depends on how threatening they are.
I think if they did not look exactly like us, I think people would panic. And I think that might be one of the reasons why governments in the world, or the United States, Roswell, alien autopsy and all that kind of stuff, why they maybe do keep these things quiet, because they don't want mass panic. Tracy says, recently I saw a story that 400 years of history was faked. Yeah, I've heard those ones too, about all of that. But go back to what you were saying about the Egyptians and stuff.
Yeah.
I have my own theory, okay? And this may or may not have anything to do with aliens, but we think we know history. We think that there's so many things the Egyptians did that we can't explain, and we try to explain. Like, for example, how did they build the pyramids? Okay, there's the lever system and the slaves dragging blocks up and doing all this kind of stuff. But the more you read about those theories, the less probable they seem to be. And
well, considering the size of the blocks that are
hi, Bonnie,
that are used in the pyramids,
are
enormous, and
so, and then you have all the stories about places like Atlantis, right, and the whole bit. The Bible thumpers out there would like you to believe that the Earth is only 4,000 and some years old from creation. Well, we know that there's no way it's only 4,000 years old, because we've got fossilized bones that they've carbon dated, and they know go back millions of years. The science is overwhelming that this Earth has been here a long, long time, and we've only been on it for, if this is the lifespan of the Earth on the timeline, our development takes up only this much of it. So what I'm thinking is, maybe civilization on our own planet was very, very advanced, but somehow it got wiped out. Maybe it was the Venusians. I don't know. And it has been so long between when those civilizations existed and before the rise of the civilization we have now, that all of their technology, everything, basically is dust. There's nothing left of it. It's been billions of years.
And some monuments have persisted.
Yeah, some have hung around, like the Great Pyramids, but even before the pyramids may have been built, there could have been, who knows?
Yeah.
So we don't know, but we're so smart, aren't we? As human beings, we think we're so smart, we know everything. And that's the thing, if we have first contact, as Tracy said, if they're smart enough to get here, or Carol said, if they're smart enough to get here, okay, so they're more advanced than we are. We can barely get beyond the moon. If we actually did go beyond the moon.
Or if we actually did go on the moon.
We're not, yeah, we don't know that for sure. More conspiracy theory. But if they're smart enough to come here and the whole bit, then we're going to be pets, basically, to them. Like, they could take us over, no problem.
Oak Island, Nova Scotia is crazy alone. What's that?
What do you mean, Tracy? I've heard of Oak Island in Nova Scotia, but I'm not sure what you're referring to. Bonnie says Stanton Friedman passed away this year. He was a nuclear physicist and professional UFOologist, a UFOologist who lived and worked in Fredericton. If anyone's interested, check out his books. There's probably YouTube videos about him. You may have to do that. But Tracy, what's this about Oak Island? I don't know much about Oak Island.
Is that where supposedly the what do you call it? They found evidence of the Vikings or whatever?
Yeah, or something. Yeah, and they're looking for treasures or something. There's all kinds of scavengers go out there.
Oak Island is ties to the Knights Templar.
And Ark of the Covenant. Okay, I don't know much about Oak Island. I've heard about it, but not too much. TV series. Oh, yeah. I've seen I've never watched it, but I've seen it listed. I just thought it was something about people looking for relics. Well, I suppose it tied in with what you're just saying about Knights Templar. Bonnie says he was an early civilian investigator of the Roswell UFO incident. I'm going to write down his name because I'm interested in finding out more. So I will put that down. Stanton Friedman. Okay, we'll look him up, see what that's all about. But I'm just saying that I can see the reasons why governments might want to cover it up, because it would put probably a lot of people out of power that want to be in power, and I think it could cause mass hysteria. I mean, people spook easy, don't they, in our societies? Especially right now where all we hear about is mass killings and shootings. I mean, Toronto has a shooting every other day anymore. Don't come to Toronto. Okay? We used to be the land of the good. Not so good anymore. In fact, we've got people here that are here in Canada that come from Australia. And I wonder how they're finding it in comparison to what we know about Australia. But anyways, she says Bonnie says it's an awesome guy. Okay, but I digress. So, abduction stories, probing and all that kind of stuff. There's enough of those out there. Are those people trying to just get attention for themselves? They're a bit wacko or whatever, or have people actually been abducted by aliens and experimented on? And then, of course, if you read the National Enquirer, every other week there's always somebody that says, an alien raped me and I had a two-headed baby. So, what are we supposed to believe from all of that? I would like to think if they're an alien race and they have the technology to come here, that they would have means of finding out what we're like without having to abduct people and probe them.
Maybe not.
No. Of course, then again, we do things to animals.
I mean, we do that to animals.
I was just going to say, we do things to animals too, which isn't nice. So, yeah, it could be. Tracy says, I've seen a ghost in my house. I don't doubt it, Tracy. And I'm saying that seriously.
So, okay, then there's the old thing about ghosts. What are ghosts? Are ghosts actually humans that are the undead or whatever? Or are they a form of alien? Or do they come from another time frame? Or you got all of that stuff too.
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean, what about dimensions?
Yeah.
Do we have dimensions that we are occupying space and time, but as the same as somebody else, but we can't see them or anything because of whatever, because of dimensions or something like that. Bonnie says, so if you don't believe in religious element, what are ghosts? And Priest says, I think my ghost was the former owner's dead brother whose ashes are buried in my front yard. I do and I don't believe in ghosts. I have some evidence to suggest that there are ghosts. But I like to think more or less, not the Halloween version of ghosts or the horror movie one, more or less energy. Because aren't we made up of matter and energy? And, some people say that, like death, for example, is not the end. It's just that we transform from one form of energy into another form of energy or whatever. There are religions in the world that believe in reincarnation. So how's that happen? How is it that you could have multiple lives? Well, that would mean that energy cannot be destroyed if we're energy and we just transform into, I don't know, another being or something. We don't know. We don't have any answers to that. And then Bonnie says, Tracy says, no, Bonnie's put in a Wikipedia link. And Tracy says, I definitely believe I've experienced several Mandela effect episodes. Yeah, I think I have too. But I'm not absolutely
Yeah, I
sure.
don't really believe that, man.
No, I know you don't. But I knew you were going to say that because you said that before in another life. Bonnie says, but reincarnation is a religious belief. But what are religious beliefs built upon? Really? What? If you think about it, all religions have some form of an afterlife, right? Is that just wishful thinking on our part? That we don't want to just give up? That it gives us hope that death is not the end?
That life doesn't end, yeah.
That life doesn't end? Or is there something to it? They've done they've hypnotized people, and supposedly they've regressed to other lives, and they figure they're not faking them because of the detail they describe it and everything and all that. So, if you believe that people can be hypnotized.
Or is it just like a dream?
Well, I think at night that I think that's how you slip into the other dimensions. I think your subconscious is able to go from one dimension to the next. And so when you're dreaming, you're actually moving into another dimension and another life that you have. But the problem is we don't really remember most of it when we come back into this life. Okay, that's my theory. Call me crazy. I'm not saying I really believe that. I'm just a theory. Bonnie says, we have to get over the religious connotations and look at reality. I think it's an egotistical belief and we think we are superior enough to come back. I agree with you on that one. And I think that's why there are many groups in our society from religious backgrounds that do not want us to believe there could be any possibility of other life forms out in the universe. And I think that's just being egotistical as well. And I think some of the big religions, i.e. the Catholics, for example, probably want to suppress any kind of notion about alien life because, again, that probably threatens their controlling power or their ability to be in control. Because if we actually have evidence of alien life, then all religions are going to have to reevaluate the things that they've been teaching people for hundreds and hundreds of years because it would alter our mindset.
However, that's not entirely true either because, we've had the theory of evolution for many, many, many years.
And look at how many religions still refuse to accept it.
Yeah, religions just refuse to accept it, yeah.
Obama says, I miss what's the drink tonight? Champagne. Well,
Or-
sparkling wine. We pretend it's champagne. Yeah, what else did I have down here? Okay, Roswell and the Bermuda Triangle. Those are two of the most significant factors that we hear the most about that are always linked to UFOs and to alien life. Roswell, apparently there was a UFO crashed in the 50s. They picked it up. They had bodies of dead aliens. They did autopsies on them. There's secret videos made of these autopsies, and it's all hush hush by the government. And nobody's supposed to go near Roswell except those that have high classification clearance and all that. And there's been stories and legends around Roswell since the 1950s about all of that. Then there's the Bermuda Triangle. And the whole idea of these planes and ships and people have just gone into the Bermuda Triangle, never came back out. And the UFO idea with that is that that's actually a portal to, or it's a spaceship over top, and they're abducting people from it. I don't know. Maybe they are. What's Phyllis says? I don't believe in ghosts. Religion is how people justify what they don't understand. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. That's why I think if we had aliens make first contact, I think it would blow a lot of people out of the water. I think there'd be people running around going, it's the end of the world, and there'll be mass suicides or something, or killings. And that's another reason why governments, if they do know anything about this kind of stuff that's there, probably don't want us to know. There'll probably be all kinds of lunatics out there, the end is near. Whatever. I'd love to meet an alien, as long as they're friendly and don't want to eat me.
Yeah.
Well, you look delicious. Yum yum. What else did I have here? Well, I've always said it might question the existence of God for those who are believers in that. So, has anybody ever had an alien experience or ever had a UFO sighting? I have never had one myself that I know of. Bonnie says most reputable sources dismiss the idea of the Bermuda Triangle. Yeah, I know, but still an interesting story, isn't it? That one I don't have any opinion on one way or the other. Mm-hmm. I just think it's interesting to hear about it. It makes for good documentaries. What else about Are We Alone? I don't know. I thought there'd be more. We're not getting a lot of discussion on this.
There's lots of people or lots of documentation on UFO sightings.
Yeah, I mean, there's been lots of them. And a lot of the stuff that's not just the fuzzy pictures where it looks like it's cup and saucer flying through space.
Now, mind you, we were at a wedding a few years ago, Todd and Dwayne.
Oh, yeah, this is funny. Tell the story.
Okay, so technically government doesn't allow them to use these, but at the end of the night at their wedding, they lit up Chinese lanterns. If anybody does know what they are, they're
little balloon-like
they're
things.
sort of balloon-like, paper balloon-like type things, and you put a candle underneath, and the heat from the candle causes enough warmth to lift them up into the air, and they float up into the air. Well, they decided at the end of this wedding to have give everybody these balloon-like things and light them up and let them float up as a symbol for them getting married, right? So out of curiosity, I went on, I knew whereabouts they lived, obviously I was there. Mm-hmm. And I don't think technically they were allowed to do that, but they said, well, they sold them in the store, so I guess we're just going to do this, right?
They really didn't get a permit for doing this.
No, I know. So anyway, we, the next day or 2 days later, I Googled UFO sightings in their area. And there's somebody that had posted online, oh my God, there's UFOs in this location. And and saw them floating. I saw them floating up, so I sent them the link, and I said, "Hey, that caused a UFO sighting."
Yeah. Yeah, true. Just looking back here, Tracy says, I've seen something, but I don't know what. What did you see, Tracy? Bonnie says, same as Oak Island, but Oak Island is based on shipwrecks, like with the Bermuda Triangle. Why do we believe we're the only ones that live? Again, ego. Yeah, exactly. Phyllis says, too hard to write our thoughts and stories in one sentence. True. I mean, if whatever. I don't know. I don't know if I believe or not. I do believe. There has to be. It's just mathematically, like I said before, and scientifically, the odds are in favor of there being some form of another form or forms of life in the universe. And as Bonnie has said, we're just egotistical about it and think we're the only ones. And I just can't see that being true. Tracy says, I saw something in the night sky fly straight up, then suddenly take a sharp right turn, then disappear. I have never. And
I have never. I've looked up in the skies for many, many, many times, and I've never ever seen anything that I could say was something that, for sure, was what I would consider was a UFO. Now, if it was something like what you were talking about, that suddenly makes a complete quick turn and takes off, I think that would be something that I would think really unusual, because that seems to have been a lot of the things where UFO sightings is that something that suddenly makes a distinct turn and then takes off.
But then you're hesitant to even mention it to other people because the people will look at you funny and think you're strange and that you're nuts, right? And I think there may be a lot of people that have seen those kind of things, but they don't report it, because if they report it to the authorities will just turn around and say, oh, it was a weather balloon, it was a drone, it was, sundogs, whatever.
And I wouldn't doubt a certain amount of that stuff that you saw blurry photographs is just
probably is
fake.
Yeah, probably is. But there's still a lot of it out there that they have no reasonable explanation, except that it's a UFO kind of a thing. Bonnie says, have you read the Drake equation? That rings a bell, but I don't know if I've ever read it. What's it about, the Drake equation, Bonnie? Fill me in, because I've sort of heard about it, but I don't know anything more than that. That's all I know about it. And Tracy says there were no drones in 1996. True.
Well, it says that Margaret Atwood thing was at midnight in the UK.
Oh, it actually was at midnight? Wow, so it was live that we were getting it. They said it was going to be live. They said at the beginning of it was being transmitted by satellite, and they had no control over dropouts. And there was a dropout, like where it went pixely for a moment or two, and then the signal came back in. But I didn't think they would have that at midnight.
Well, they might have, because that was the day the book. Because they know that they were broadcasting it.
Yeah, I guess.
To a lot of times people get up in the middle of the night to watch the Olympics if they are in a different location. It could be that they just arranged it because saying that most of the North American audience would be.
Yeah, well, B&D would know because they live there with it. And also, she says the book is being read on BBC Radio 4 this week. Oh, they're reading the whole book? I don't want to know about it yet. I haven't started reading it. Okay, so back to aliens. Maybe Atwood's an alien. I don't know. So what were we talking about?
Talking about, like people seeing.
Yeah, seeing stuff and whether. Oh yeah. So I was going to say a lot of people may have seen things like that, but they don't want to report it or whatever because they don't want to seem like they're crazy. Now I'll give you an example of this and how people react to things like that from my own experience. We were talking about ghosts earlier. Okay, I don't know if I've ever told you this story or not, but I've told it to many people, and some people accept it for what it is. Other people just look at me and go, you're lying to me. You're making up a story. I came home from school one day, and our dining room table has two candles, two candle holders on it, and there's a centerpiece in the center of it. At that time, I've changed it since then. And they were in a straight line. I came home, and the two candlesticks were on opposite corners, diagonal, on the table, on the dining room table. I didn't think that much of it. Excuse me. I didn't think that much of it at the time. I fixed it back up. I just figured Walter moved them for some reason. Why? I don't know. So I said to him, when he comes, did you move the candlesticks on the dining room table? He goes, candlesticks? What candlesticks? That's the ones on the dining room table. We have candlesticks on the dining room table? Okay, you didn't move them then. Or you're playing with me. One or the other. So I kind of left it and just thought, well, whatever. Came home another day. Now, I don't think it was the next day, but another day. And they've been moved again. Now, this time I'm thinking, oh, he's just doing it to pull my leg about it all. But no, he claims he did not move them. So I put them back. Next day I came back from school, and every picture in this house hanging on the wall was hanging at a 45-degree angle. I'm not saying that they had just shifted, because of vibrations or something like that. They were at a 45-degree angle. And this got me when I saw that. And I sort of, okay, I'm freaking out a little bit. One, it couldn't have been a big truck that went down the street because our street is residential. We don't have a lot of big trucks go down it. And yeah, you could see the vibrations from a big truck or something like that.
It's very rare for us to get any kind of
earthquake
movement.
or earth movement. We don't get those here. But the thing was, if it had been one picture, you would say, oh yeah, it was just vibration or something, or the picture was loose or whatever, and it was crooked on the wall. It wasn't one picture. It was every picture. And I straightened them all up. Oh yeah, that happened before the candlesticks got moved. No. The candlesticks happened first both times, and then it was this. Now, here was my theory. We were being haunted by his dead sister, who hated my guts, and I hated hers as well. And the candlesticks going diagonal on the table was because in the house we had before this one we live in now, we had a smaller dining room. And in order for, I was playing around with visual effects. So I actually, in that house, put our dining room table on an angle. The few times his sister, the dead one that I hate it, came to our house, she'd have a conniption fit because our table was crooked. And she would insist upon trying to straighten it up. And I said, my house, leave my furniture where I like it. I kind of like things on an angle. So I had a little talk with her. And I said, look, bitch, if you're here and you're a spirit, go into the light, for God's sakes, because you're not going to freak me out. And eventually I will come and haunt you. So get the hell out of my house. It never happened again. Now, you can laugh at me. You can say I've got a wicked imagination. You can say I'm telling you a story. Whatever you want to think, and people do. But I know what I know and what I saw. My grandmother believed there were ghosts. And she was a pretty smart lady. So, although there are those who thought she was a little bit eccentric as well. So, whatever. But I'm just saying, that's what I think. So, that's why I'm probably have my mind open to the idea of aliens. Same thing, or possibilities of multiple dimensions, the multiverse, as they call it. Bonnie says, simple, effective tool for stimulating intellectual curiosity about the universe around us. Help us to understand that life as we know it is the end product of a natural cosmic evolution. A simple, effective tool for stimulating intellectual curiosity about the universe around us. Help us to understand that life as we know it is the end product of a natural cosmic evolution. I
wonder if that has to do with the Drake equation.
Oh, okay. Now I get it. Oh, okay. That's something I'd have to think about. Yeah, that's interesting. Carol says the universe and beyond are so huge we cannot even imagine. Hard to believe there isn't sentient life forms out there. Yeah, that's the way I believe it about it. That's what I said. The science and
I
the
mean,
math.
if we're here, why shouldn't there be something else somewhere?
Yeah, and that goes back to what others were saying here about we being very egotistical, thinking we're the best, we're the
Well,
only ones.
And then there's also the fact that they're so far away from us and isolated, unless their technology is such that they can travel between us and them, they would be just existing the way we are.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too. We're out. I said before, we're way out on the boonies. Like our galaxy is a spiral, and I remember the professor pointing out he had a star chart, and he was pointing out like he put one of those stickers up. You are here, and the center of our galaxy, the Milky Way. We are way out here on one of those spiral branches, like way the heck out. Like thousands upon thousands and tens of thousands of light years away. So are we worth the trip? To come all this way to see, let's slum it this weekend, Gladys, and go take a look at the humans. I don't know. And with the vastness of the distances, I mean, what? Our next closest galaxy to us is Alpha Centauri. Is that a galaxy or is that a planet? Or a solar system or something like that.
Sure.
But it's something like 30 light years or something, or 100 light years, something like that. So, I mean, we can't go faster than the speed of light yet.
That we're aware of.
We can't even come, well, okay, if they've got it, then someone else is using it. They didn't tell us about it. So, yeah, so to think that we're it, I don't think so. I don't think we're all that in a bag of chips. Let's see, Praces says, I wish Stephen had a Discord channel. I don't know what those are, but I've been hearing that term lately, but it may have been from you. I'm not sure. I may have to look some of those up on YouTube to see. Are they YouTube channels or are they something else? I'm assuming they're Discord ones where people share their ideas to stir up crap and get other people, debating with them or whatever. Phyllis says, back to Bonnie. You asked her for an explanation. Yeah, I understand that now. Sorry, when you're looking at all this stuff and it scrolls by us, it's hard to pick up the thread sometimes. Or maybe I'm just stupid.
Maybe you're just stupid.
Oh, be quiet. Oh my God, you're hilarious. If she hated you, why bother? Well, that was what she was like.
Actually, she would have bothered.
Yeah, she would have.
In fact, I think there was one time in the old house where she actually tried to move the table
She did.
herself to write it because she hated the way it was.
She was a piece of work, believe me. I've said this before. It's like when Betty Davis.
She also never seemed to know what she wanted because she moved into a new house with gray carpeting. She decided to buy a couch that matched the gray carpeting. And I said to her, well, you're probably better off buying a couch that is a different color than the carpeting, right? To make it stand out, because if you buy a couch the same color, it'll just blend in, right?
Maybe your sister was an alien.
Anyway, so
That would explain a lot of things.
so she got the couch, she didn't like it, and sold it within a week after getting it, type of thing. That's the way she was. So
She's a bitch.
yeah.
Her face is next to the word bitch in the dictionary. Oh, mine says, sorry, haunt you, she meant. Why did she bother to haunt you? Yes, just to be a bitch. Yeah. Yeah, how do we got on to your dead sister, and aliens? Like I said, maybe she was an alien.
Maybe.
And ghosts. It's funny how we got into ghosts and aliens too, and things like that.
Well, they're phenomenon that we can't necessarily justify, I guess.
Oh, okay, Pracy. Pracy says she'll send me a screenshot of Discord. Okay. Phyllis says they came and determined that we were destroying our planet, so they left to look for smarter people. Yeah, that could be. Or maybe we're like someone said, maybe we're like a Sims thing. We're an experiment. Maybe they seeded us here
We dropped off a few people.
to see what was going on, see how we would develop. There's been, fictional books and science fiction shows that have the premise that we won't have first contact until we have proven ourselves or have gotten ourselves to a level where it's worth the drive to Earth, okay, kind of a thing. And in fact, Star Trek movies, I think the first Star Trek movie talked about first contact with the Vulcans, and they said the Vulcans knew that there was people on Earth, but they would not intervene, wouldn't make themselves known until Earthlings had shown that they were able to break the speed of light thing, warp drive. And so when Ephron, whatever his name is, now I'm showing my Star Trek nerdiness, developed the warp engine and did the first test, and it worked, that sent out a signature or something they called it. That's when the Vulcans knew, aha, they have reached the level, that's the minimum amount for us to go and see them. And then the rest is all the other Star Trek stories after that.
Are you a Canuck?
Are you a Canuck? Yes, Bonnie, we are Canadian. We're Ontarians. Or you,
Yeah,
oh no, I think she's talking about Phyllis.
Oh,
I think that's directed at Phyllis. Yes. No, Phyllis is not Canadian. But we won't hold that against Phyllis. Yeah, just got that, Bonnie. Figured that out. Anyways, so what else can we say about aliens? What if aliens moved in next door? Oh, they already have. Hope they don't watch this. Probably not. Tracy says, I
Okay,
own
she
stock
could
in
vote
Oak Island. Huh. Oh, Bonnie says, too bad that Phyllis isn't Canadian. She could vote green. Actually, I don't think, Phyllis, you'd vote for the Green Party. I think you'd vote for the People's Party. Or the... Wasn't there one, the No Party people?
there's still a couple other ones like Libertarian and
Yeah.
um,
We have more than just 4 parties.
but the other ones
But
are
the other
so
ones-
insignificant that
Yeah. Tracy says, 1 penny a share. I bought 100 shares for $1 of Oak Island. Didn't know they had shares. Oak Island is buried treasure, not aliens. Yeah. My dad was Canadian French, Phyllis says. Oh, Lambert. Oh, so Phyllis, you have Canadian blood in you. Good. You're not a total loss then. There's a redeeming side. Oh, how alien. Okay, so I don't know. Have we exhausted aliens? Any other thoughts about aliens? I'd like to meet one day as long as they won't eat me. That's what I said before. Sit down. What do you serve at an alien dinner party? Oh, God, it's hard enough with vegetarians and vegans these days to come to your house. Would aliens be gluten-free? Would they eat your cat?
Beyond Earth burgers.
Beyond Earth burgers. Yeah. We're back on Oak Island here. There are some mystery and religion mixed into Oak Island. Bonnie says the Knights Templar buried the treasure. That is the basis of Oak Island. So that's why they're all digging it up all the time. They're looking for the Holy Grail, kind of a thing.
Yeah, speaking of the Holy Grail.
What?
No, the Holy Grail and everything.
Well, here's one for the religious freaks. I have read this. Some will claim that actually Jesus Christ was an alien, and he was.
Well, my mother was an alien.
Yeah, she wasn't an illegal alien though.
My mother was an immigrant, but she wasn't. Had never became Canadian. So she was considered an alien.
Oh, okay, fine. Funny. Well, okay. I think we've got that covered. So, next week's topic, all right? I think next week's going to be an interesting topic because I think you're going to love to hate us next week because here's the topic. Modern parenting from a childless couple's point of view. In other words, we're going to talk about what we consider, from our position as being a childless couple, what good parenting is and what bad parenting is, and why we have so many screwed up kids. Well, that might come from my background as a teacher, but why there's so many kids that
because
are
you
screwed
taught
up. Yeah, yeah, right. Thanks a lot for that.
I'm a centrist. Middle of the road.
Okay. Jesus' real name is, oh yeah, we did this one before, the son of Julius Caesar and Cleopatra. And Google that. Okay. Bonnie says that means I can't contribute. I'm not sure why. I'm a centrist. Middle of the road. Okay. Labels. Didn't we have a whole episode about labels, people?
No, it doesn't mean that you can't contribute if you have kids. Well, are you talking about kids?
I'm not sure. I'm Bonnie. I'm lost when you said that means I can't contribute. I'm going back here to see where that picks up.
I'm not childless, so that's okay.
No. We want the people that have children to speak to this. No, we're going to speak from our point of view of not having any children and how we observe it. Because here's what got me thinking about this. Walter had lunch the other day with a friend of his that he used to work with. And there was some discussion about having children or who had children. They were talking about other people or something. And we got talking about the fact that when people found out, or would say, you said one woman said to you once or something.
No, the receptionist said something about my kids
Your
or something.
kids.
And I said, no, we didn't have kids. So, no, but that wasn't really, I don't know what that was about.
Well, no, but that got me thinking about the fact that then she said something, well, and you said, no, I'm gay. And she said, well, that doesn't mean you can't have children. Well, that's true now.
But in the time that we got together, that wasn't a possibility.
But what that got me thinking about is, because I've heard that comment before directed at me too. And one I just say around to people now is, and besides, I'm beyond my childbearing years, for one thing. And the other thing, though, is that they make this assumption that everybody in the world needs to have children to have
Valid.
a place to be valid. And I know that women, many women go through this in life, like they feel that for some reason they're not a complete person because they chose or could not have children or something like that. There's lots of single parents out there that decide, and this is mostly women, decide that their biological clock is running down, they want children, so they go and have children, and they don't necessarily have to have a man in the equation beyond the obvious thing that you need from a man in order to have children, kind of a deal.
Then there's also, what was I just thinking about? I lost track.
Well, while you're thinking of that, Bonnie says, when are you going to talk about nursing homes? I will have lots to say. Okay, that's a topic for a week. I'll put that down. We have sort of touched upon that, usually every time I touch upon my mother and what's going on with her, but maybe a deeper discussion about that might be interesting. So I'll put that down for a future idea. So the whole thing that I got thinking about is this. As soon as you open your mouth and you say something that someone might take as a negative comment about raising children, like you see a little kid, this happens all the time, running rampant in a grocery store, and the parent seems to be oblivious to the fact that their kid is pulling everything off the shelves. And if you turn around and were to say to them, you need to control your child, because they're going to, 1, hurt themselves, 2, probably wreck stuff off the shelves, and 3, maybe hurt somebody else with it. They turn around to you and go, that's none of your business. They're my kids. I can do whatever I want with my kids. And do you have children? No. Then you have nothing to say. You have no opinion. Your opinion is not valid because you don't have children. And I beg to differ. My opinion is just as valid as anybody that's had kids.
Now we're getting into next week.
Yeah, I know. So we don't want to go any further. That's a teaser. That's what we're going to talk about. So be prepared. I am prepared to
So
say
anybody's opinion, including, but it would be nice to know if you have kids or if you don't have kids.
Like, how do you perceive the bringing up of children? How, I'm sure everybody has opinions on this. Well, sure, I know. So that's what we're going to talk about next week. Modern parenting, from the pros and cons. What's good about today's parents, what's bad about today's parents, and how they bring up their children. Okay, what else have we got coming up? Our local club, gay club, is having a man's night. I don't know if we're going or not. It's next Saturday night. They have like guest bartenders, and they're having contests for best body parts of sort. You use your imagination. So I don't know if we're going to go to that kind of thing. But I guess they've had an interest in having one of these, and so I don't know. We haven't been to the club in a long time, so we'll see. So that might be something interesting to talk about as well next Sunday, if we actually go to something like this. Okay, I think that's got us. That's our time today. So Bonnie, I've put down in my list of topics nursing homes, and go and tell us about it. Yeah. Yeah, would you like pictures too, Bonnie? Probably. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So, hope you have a good week, everybody. And if you see a UFO, take a picture, share it.
Or let us know.
Yeah, let us know. And we'll check out the Stanton Friedman as well. So have a good week, everybody. My vlog will be on tomorrow as well. And be prepared. I'm going to do woman bashing. Well, no, I'm not. Well, maybe I am. You'll have to check it out. See you later. Bye, everybody.